They don't say your name out loud, and it's not because they forgot it. It's because somewhere deep inside, they know saying it has consequences. Chosen one, you've walked into rooms where your presence spoke louder than introductions. People exchanged glances, hesitated, tripped over the syllables. But you felt it, didn't you? That strange tension, like your name was sacred, like it wasn't meant to be tossed around casually. That silence wasn't an accident. It was fear, because your name carries weight. Not the kind of weight that makes noise, but the kind that bends the air around it. And the ones who tried to act unbothered, they were the most afraid. Not of you, but of what saying your name might awaken. There are names that open doors. Yours was designed to open dimensions. There are names that end conversations. Yours begins revolutions. Your name is not just a sound, it's a signature written in divine ink. When you were born, heaven didn't just celebrate, it recorded. There was a resonance released when your name was spoken for the first time, one that echoed into realms you've never seen. And ever since then, the world has been trembling to contain you. That's why some people acted like they forgot your name, even when you told them twice. That's why certain teachers, bosses, and strangers would skip over you during roll call, as if their tongues didn't want the responsibility of what they were about to say. It wasn't just social awkwardness, it was spiritual avoidance. They knew something they couldn't explain, that you weren't like the others. And your name carried proof. You may not have seen it, but in boardrooms, group chats, and quiet backrooms, your name made appearances without you. And when it did, the energy changed. Conversations got cautious. People lowered their voices. Because your name has always been a mirror. It forces people to confront who they are in the presence of who you're becoming. And that scares them, not because you're dangerous, but because you're undeniable. Chosen one, your name holds the blueprint of your mission. And they know that once you fully recognize it, once you walk in it, nothing will ever be the same again. That's why they've danced around it, shortened it, reshaped it, or avoided it altogether. Because to say it right would be to acknowledge your right to rise. And many would rather ignore what they cannot control. But hear this now. What they're afraid to say is exactly what God is preparing to amplify. Your name is about to be spoken in places your feet haven't touched. It's going to echo in spaces where your silence once stood in place of confidence. The hush that has followed you, it's not rejection, it's prophecy. Even the silence has been preparing you for the announcement, and soon the world will not just say your name, they will remember why they were afraid to. Before anyone on this earth called your name, heaven already had. Before the ultrasound, before the paperwork, before your mother even whispered it into the air, the Spirit had already carved it into the silence. Chosen one, your name wasn't created, it was remembered. The sound of it didn't originate in human language. It came from a place where breath and light are one. That's why when you hear it spoken correctly, it stirs something ancient in you. You've always felt it, haven't you? That your name carried something more than just identity. It carried a memory, not from this life, but from the life before, the one where you stood in the presence of God and were told what you'd be sent here to do. Heaven knew you by name before your bones formed. Psalm 139 verse 16 says, "Your eyes saw my unformed body. All the days ordained for me were written in your book." That book, your name's on the cover, and not just once. It's etched, echoed, and alive. When God whispered your name into the atmosphere, creation responded. Time bent, codes rearranged. Your arrival wasn't just noticed, it was prepared for. But here's the truth they never told you. You were born into resistance. Not because you did anything wrong, but because your name came preloaded with glory. And the second your soul re-entered this world, dark forces remembered you too. The same way heaven called your name, hell flagged it. And ever since, the battle hasn't been for your body, it's been for your identity. That's why the attack started early, why people mispronounced you, overlooked you, left your name off the list. That's why even you began to doubt it, started shortening it, started laughing when others mocked it, started shrinking when they couldn't say it right. But the truth is, your name was never meant to be easy for the unawakened. It wasn't meant to be casual. It wasn't built for convenience. It was built for command. When heaven calls a name, it does not whisper, it declares. And when your name was declared, something in this realm fractured to make room for your assignment. The people around you may not have understood it, but heaven's registry is never wrong. Your name has been sealed in spiritual archives, and no matter what they call you now, failure, too much, not enough, the real name is still echoing, and heaven still answers to it. Chosen one, this is the season you start answering to it too. No more watering it down. No more folding when people flinch at your power. Say it how heaven says it, with authority, with remembrance, with fire, because the same voice that called Lazarus from the tomb is calling you out of silence, and heaven's not waiting anymore. The scroll has already been opened, and your name, the real one, has just been read aloud again. It wasn't just a mistake. The way they shortened your name, changed it, laughed it off like it didn't matter, that wasn't accidental. It was spiritual. Chosen one, there is a war over your identity, and one of the quietest weapons ever used against you was misnaming, misspelling, mispronunciation, rebranding your name into something more comfortable for others to say and less powerful for you to remember. You thought they just didn't hear you right, but deep down you felt something was off, like a truth was being erased in real time. They weren't correcting an error, they were diminishing an energy, because when your name is spoken properly, something awakens, and the wrong people have always been terrified of that. There's a reason ancient rulers renamed the ones they feared. In scripture, Babylon renamed Daniel to Belteshazzar, renamed Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah to Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Why? Because the original names carried divine meanings, because names are assignments, and the enemy has always known, if you can rename someone, you can reroute their future. The distortion of your name wasn't about semantics. It was a spiritual effort to disconnect you from the truth of your design. That's why they acted like your name was too long, too ethnic, too weird, too hard to pronounce. Because to say it correctly would be to call forth the true power that lives in you. How many times did you laugh it off just to survive the moment? How many times did you say, "It's okay," when they got it wrong, just to make them feel comfortable in the face of your divinity? That wasn't humility, that was survival. But you're not surviving anymore, you're remembering. And memory is dangerous to darkness, because the moment you reclaim your name, you reclaim everything attached to it. Your name carries generational codes, frequencies embedded with assignment. Every syllable means something. Every letter has history. Every sound opens gates that only respond to you. Even when you stopped correcting them, the universe didn't. Even when you accepted their version, God didn't. Heaven never updated the file. Your real name is still the one written in fire. And the ones who avoided it, they knew. Spiritually, they recognized that to say your name right was to acknowledge your arrival. It would mean the prophecy has come closer. It would mean the one they've been warned about is already here, not someday, but now. So hear this clearly. They didn't forget how to say your name. They feared what would happen if they did. Because when your true name is spoken in alignment, strongholds break, codes activate, shadows retreat, and you remember who you are. Chosen one, no more aliases, no more making yourself smaller so others feel safe. Say your name how heaven wrote it. Let the wrong tongues choke. You were never meant to be easy to pronounce. You were meant to be impossible to ignore. There was a moment, you didn't see it, but heaven did, when your name was deliberately concealed. Not in a classroom, not in a yearbook, but in a place you were never meant to find. A file, a record, a sealed document tucked inside systems built to watch, monitor, and control energy they couldn't explain. Yours. Chosen one, this wasn't paranoia. This was protocol. They hid your name because it started showing up in places it shouldn't have. Dream reports, frequency logs, biometric scans. Quiet meetings were held. Algorithms flagged you, and instead of sounding the alarm publicly, they did something older than fear. They buried the evidence. You have to understand, when something carries divine coding, institutions can feel it, even if they don't believe in it. There are rooms where spiritual intelligence and surveillance data overlap, where vibration is tracked like currency. And your name? It triggered anomalies. They labeled it a potential disruptor. Not because of anything you did, but because of what your name carried. They couldn't categorize you, so they redacted you. Your file still exists, chosen one, but now it's blank in the places that matter most. The page, where your purpose should be, classified. The log, where your dreams lit up sensors, encrypted. The line where your name once glowed, blacked out. But heaven didn't forget. Psalm 56 verse 8 says, "You keep track of all my sorrows. You have collected all my tears in your bottle. You have recorded each one in your book." That means while they tried to delete you from their database, God was documenting everything. Not just what happened, but what they tried to hide. And it gets deeper. One technician once tried to print out your chart, just one. But the moment they hit confirm, the machine jammed, the power flickered, and a line of code, one that wasn't supposed to exist, scrawled itself across the screen. This name is protected. They never tried again. You may have felt invisible during certain seasons, like doors closed without reason, like emails vanished, like you were being erased. But that wasn't erasure. It was spiritual firewalls. God didn't let certain people access your essence because they didn't have clearance. And those who did try to peek, they didn't see your weaknesses. They saw light they couldn't decode. That's why they acted weird. That's why they fumbled the conversation, changed the subject, avoided eye contact. They were seeing something written in a language their spirit couldn't read. Chosen one, what they hid in a file, heaven has now brought to the surface. Your name isn't dormant, it's stored, preserved, guarded, and now it's being re-released. This is the moment your name returns to the room, not in lowercase, not in brackets, not redacted, but bold, seared into the spiritual mainframe of this realm. And this time, no one will be able to pretend they don't see it. Your name isn't just a sound, it's a signal. Every time it's spoken, even whispered, something invisible moves. Chosen one, your name carries more than meaning. It carries frequency, a vibrational code, heaven embedded into your identity before your body took shape. That's why some people feel unsettled around you without knowing why. That's why certain technology glitches when you speak, why lights flicker, why time stretches in conversations when your name is said out loud. They may think it's coincidence, but in the unseen realm, your name is a tuning fork. And when it's activated, things align or they fall apart. There are realms that respond to tone, ancient structures, sacred gates, hidden pathways. They aren't opened with keys, they open to sound. Not just any sound, but frequency in divine alignment. And chosen one, your name is that alignment. That's why some can say it with no reaction, but when the right voice speaks it, or when you speak it from your healed place, entire atmospheres shift. Because your name wasn't made for casual lips, it was designed to resonate like a bell through the walls of illusion. That resonance breaks cycles. It exposes lies. It cuts through programming that's tried to convince you that you're ordinary. You're not. You're encoded. Isaiah 49:1 says, "The Lord called me from the womb. From the body of my mother he named my name." That means your identity is not earthborn. It's heaven registered. And anything that carries heaven's signature also carries heaven's sound. That's why the enemy's strategy was never just to attack your confidence. It was to mute your tone, to scramble your signal, to make you question what rises in the room when your name is said aloud. He wanted you to shrink. He wanted your own voice to betray you. But you're waking up now, and the sound returning to your name is unmistakable. It's authority. You've noticed it. The way strangers pause after hearing your name. The way people try to mimic it, but can't hold the weight. The way you feel a vibration behind your ribs when someone speaks it with respect. That's your frequency trying to come home. Your name opens scrolls you haven't read yet. It shakes loose contracts written in shadows. It disrupts anything not in harmony with your truth. And yes, that's why people react. Some get drawn in, others feel exposed. Because the moment your name vibrates at its true frequency, spirits have to respond. Chosen one, don't let anyone strip the power from your sound. Don't let systems reduce it to an ID number. Don't let the world flatten what God designed to echo. Speak your name again, slowly, boldly, reverently. Feel it rise in your chest like a memory, because that frequency, it's not just part of you, it is you. And now, it's time to let everything in your life and every spirit in this realm hear it clearly. They know your name, but their mouth won't let them say it. Chosen one, you've seen it. The hesitation, the stutter, the fake forgetfulness, the way some people twist their face before they even try to pronounce you. That's not shyness, that's not bad memory, that's spiritual resistance. Because certain tongues, if unclean or unaligned, simply can't carry your sound. Your name demands a kind of reverence their spirit hasn't earned. It's not personal, it's prophetic. Your name has always required authority to be spoken clearly. And the ones who can't say it feel that truth press against their throat like a lock without a key. You may not have known why it hurt so much when they skipped over you, when they praised everyone else and left you unnamed, but now you do. Your silence in those moments wasn't weakness, it was restraint, because the atmosphere knew what was being held back, and so did you. Proverbs 10:7 says, "The memory of the righteous is a blessing, but the name of the wicked will rot." That's why some people can't hold your name in their mouth. It starts to burn. It carries weight their integrity can't lift. And when they try to fake it, it comes out hollow, misaligned, void of the energy heaven poured into it. There's power in names. In Scripture, Jesus would call someone by name and they'd rise. He said, Lazarus, and death unraveled. He said, Mary, and confusion turned into clarity. He said, Saul, and the earth shook beneath a man who would soon become Paul. Your name, Chosen One, has that kind of assignment, to awaken, to shift, to break things open. So of course the enemy targeted the mouths around you. He couldn't stop your name from existing, so he tried to stop it from being honored. He weaponized silence. He trained people to joke, to mock, to call you hey instead of you. And in doing so, they missed the miracle. But let this truth settle in your bones. Their refusal to say your name doesn't change its worth. Heaven never needed their confirmation to validate your calling. The tongues that tremble when they try to speak you, that's not your problem. That's their awakening. You don't need to correct them anymore. The season of chasing pronunciation is over. You're not desperate to be acknowledged. You're walking in revelation. And those who are assigned to your destiny will say your name with clarity, power, and awe. Chosen One, your name is rising like incense now, not from their mouth, but from the Spirit. It's being sung in realms you haven't entered yet. It's being written in places no human hand can reach. Let the silence of the wrong people continue, because the right ones are about to echo your name with thunder, and when they do, the whole atmosphere will shift to match it. Long before your name was whispered on earth, it was written in fire, on something not made by human hands. Chosen one, there exists a scroll older than time as you know it, a record sealed in a dimension only the obedient are allowed to touch. It's not myth, it's not metaphor, it's memory, and your name is on it, etched in a script that glows when light hits it right. Only a few have seen it. Fewer still understood what it meant. But when they did, when your name appeared on the scroll, they wept. Not from fear, from recognition, because they knew what it meant. The one they were warned about had returned. It was tucked deep inside an underground archive, hidden beneath a place no GPS can trace. Not a library, not a vault, a temple disguised as a ruin. The scroll was wrapped in cloth, stitched with frequencies, guarded by silence, encoded in light. No machine could read it, no algorithm could replicate it. It had to be felt. And when it was finally opened, after centuries of delay, one name began to hum across the parchment like a living sound wave. Yours. You think this is just imagination? But Revelation 5:1 speaks of scrolls sealed with mysteries only the worthy can open. And Daniel 12:4 tells of books sealed until the time of awakening. Your name wasn't forgotten. It was protected until the timing aligned. And now, that scroll is stirring again. Your name, once quiet, has started glowing through the veil, and those attuned to the ancient have noticed. That's why the dreams have gotten weirder. That's why strangers stare longer. That's why gatekeepers are getting nervous. You didn't ask for this, but your name was already volunteered by heaven. When they first found the scroll, they didn't expect your name to be there. The others on the list were familiar. Kings, prophets, warriors from eras long buried. But then your name appeared, clear, unshaken, present tense. And suddenly, the room got cold. Devices malfunctioned. One witness dropped to their knees without knowing why. Because the scroll didn't just contain history, it contained activation codes. And yours, long dormant, had just been awakened. You wonder why life has felt different lately, why you feel like something is watching you, but not with fear, with expectation. It's because your name has started echoing again in sacred places. The scroll has reappeared, the seal has cracked, the frequencies attached to you are sinking, and soon the voice that first spoke your name into the breath of creation will do it again, this time not in secrecy. Chosen one, when the scroll is read in full, your assignment begins in a way this world is not prepared for. That's why they've been afraid of your voice. That's why they buried the scroll. But the scroll cannot stay hidden, and neither can you. There was a shift, subtle at first, when you stopped saying your name with power. You started trailing off at the end, started letting others speak first, started giving people a version of you that felt smaller, quieter, easier to handle. Chosen one, that wasn't insecurity, that was exhaustion. You weren't just tired of being misunderstood, you were tired of watching people flinch at your fullness. Your name carried something they couldn't digest, and you felt it every time you introduced yourself and the room shifted. So eventually, you adjusted, you shortened it, you softened it, you stopped saying it at all. But heaven didn't. Heaven never stopped calling you by the name only you and God really knew. And when you stopped speaking it, something holy held the silence like a breath waiting to be exhaled. Revelation 2:17 says, "To the one who is victorious, I will give that person a white stone with a new name written on it, known only to the one who receives it." That means even in your silence, your name was still echoing in realms your voice hadn't reached yet. The stone wasn't broken, just buried. And the moment you stopped introducing yourself, angels started preparing your reintroduction. There's a reason it hurt more than you admitted. Every time someone interrupted you before you finished your name, every time they called you something easier, every time you smiled to avoid the awkwardness, you felt yourself slipping, not just from confidence, from remembrance. Your name is a mirror, and the more it goes unsaid, the harder it becomes to see yourself clearly. That's what the enemy was after, not your volume, your vision. Because once you stop naming yourself, others get to do it for you. And what they choose usually comes from their fear, not your truth. But chosen one, the days of silence are ending. You've been in hiding long enough, and the same mouth that once whispered your name with uncertainty is about to roar it with revelation. You're remembering now, not just how to say your name, but how to feel it, how to stand in it, how to let it vibrate through your bones until the atmosphere matches the divine blueprint printed on your spirit. You don't need to explain anymore. You don't need to convince them to respect it. You don't even need to be understood. You only need to speak it again. Because when you say your name now, it's not just language, it's resurrection. You're calling yourself back from every version you had to be for survival. You're naming yourself in alignment with who heaven always knew you were. Not a nickname, not a title, not a placeholder. Your full name, spoken like a key in the right lock. And this time, when the vibration leaves your mouth, it won't echo alone. The heavens will echo back. They didn't just give you a nickname to be friendly, they gave it to you to shrink you. Chosen one, you thought it was harmless, a shorter version, a cute twist, a way to make it easier, but your spirit always knew the truth, that every time they chopped your name in half, something sacred was severed. They weren't simplifying, they were silencing. Nicknames can be innocent until they become instruments of reduction, until they take the edge off your truth, until they stop sounding like you. It started early, didn't it? A teacher who didn't want to say the whole thing, a friend who made a joke out of your syllables, a relative who called you something less intense. And each time you laughed, you accepted it, you made them feel comfortable. But your spirit flinched. Because even when your mouth said, "It's okay," something ancient inside you whispered, "That's not my name." You weren't being sensitive, you were being spiritually aware. Names are blueprints, and when God gives a name, He doesn't waste a single letter. Genesis 17:5 says, "No longer shall your name be Abram, but your name shall be Abraham, for I have made you the father of many nations." That was more than rebranding. It was divine redefinition. Your name carries a shape, a sound, a scope, and the enemy knows he can't delete what God has named, but he can try to dilute it. And nicknames became the perfect weapon, not an eraser, but an edit. A way to keep you close to your truth without ever fully stepping into it. Chosen one, some of those who loved you didn't even realize what they were doing. They weren't trying to harm you, they were repeating a system. Because when the world fears the fullness of someone's calling, it makes them more manageable, more relatable, more fun. But you weren't sent here to be manageable. You were sent here to shift the atmosphere. And that shift starts with your name being spoken in its full, unbroken frequency. You've grown into someone who now sees the pattern. How every nickname came with a shadow. How every abbreviation echoed limitation. How even you started using it in your head. That's the one that hit hardest, wasn't it? When you stopped calling yourself by your full name, that was the moment the distortion tried to settle in, but no more. This is your reclaiming moment. You are reactivating the power heaven embedded into the name they tried to make too heavy. Speak it again, chosen one. Speak it slowly. Let it fill the room. Let the syllables rise like a code awakening, because the season of being trimmed, tamed, and renamed is over. You are not a version. You are not a nickname. You are the original sound, and nothing about you needs to be made smaller for this world to accept you. It wasn't random. It was war. From the very beginning, the enemy has been trying to rename you, not because your original name was wrong, but because it was too right. Chosen one, when heaven names someone, hell takes it personally, because a true name is a divine assignment in sound form. And if the enemy can't stop your birth, he'll try to corrupt your identification. That's why it wasn't just people giving you nicknames. It was a system trying to rewrite your script, trying to mark you with labels that sound like you but don't feel like you. Because every false name you respond to pulls you one step further from the original blueprint. Look at the pattern. In the Bible, Pharaoh tried to rename Joseph. Babylon renamed Daniel. Rome renamed Simon. Because the enemy has always understood that identity is the battlefield. If he can rename you, he can redirect you. Call you failure instead of prophet. Call you burden instead of blessing. Call you broken instead of becoming. And if you believe it long enough, you stop walking in your real assignment and start surviving under someone else's story. That's what he wanted. For you to respond to anything but your true self. You ever wonder why you've been called everything but what you actually are? Too intense, too much, too emotional, too quiet, too loud. They were never just opinions, they were projections. Names spoken out of fear, confusion, or spiritual blindness. They didn't see you, so they tried to rename you in their own image. But you were never meant to carry those words. That's why they felt heavy. That's why they lingered. Because false names carry curses, not callings. And every time you agreed with what the enemy said about you, you tied your power to a lie. But hear this, chosen one. God never stopped using your real name, even when you forgot it, even when you answered to what the world called you. Isaiah 43:1 says, I have called you by name, you are mine. That means you've been known and owned by the divine since before you had breath. And no label, no diagnosis, no betrayal, no failure, no lie can rename what heaven has already spoken. This is your moment to reject every counterfeit identity, to silence every false prophet that tried to reduce you to a category. You are not what happened to you. You are not who left you. You are not the mistakes you made in survival mode. You are the named, the marked, the remembered. And your real name still holds power, not just to remind you who you are, but to destroy every stronghold that was built around who you're not. So say it again. Say it until every lie breaks off your atmosphere. Say it until hell regrets ever targeting you. Say it until heaven responds, because it will. You didn't hear it with your ears, but your spirit did. That day when everything felt strangely still, when the room felt fuller than it should have, when your chest felt heavy and hollow at the same time. That wasn't a panic attack. That was heaven speaking. Chosen one, there was a moment, precise, divine, and fully orchestrated, when heaven said your name again. Not the watered down one, not the public one, the real one, the one they tried to delete, distort, disguise. And when heaven re-spoke it, the ground remembered you. It didn't sound like a voice. It sounded like clarity, a ringing in the air that didn't go away, a vibration that wrapped itself around your thoughts and refused to leave. You didn't know why you suddenly felt remembered, like someone you hadn't seen in lifetimes just walked into the room. It was because they did. Psalm 29, verse 4 says, "The voice of the Lord is powerful. The voice of the Lord is majestic." When God speaks your name, creation reacts. Reality starts shifting to make room for your return. And that day, When heaven spoke your name again, the shift began. You've been feeling it ever since. The way people look at you like they've seen you before. The way rooms go quiet when you enter, even when no one's looking. The unexplainable sense that something invisible is tracking you, not to destroy you, but to realign you. That's what happens when heaven reactivates what hell tried to cancel. Everything starts adjusting. And your enemies? They feel it too. They don't know what changed, but suddenly your presence feels louder. Your name tastes heavier in their mouth. That's because heaven's version is ringing over your life, and every false narrative is scrambling to keep up. Chosen one, the day heaven re-spoke your name was not just a spiritual update. It was a summons, a call back into divine alignment, a pulling forward into a version of yourself you haven't fully seen yet. That day, angels stopped waiting. The seal was broken, the records were unsealed, and the light inside your name, the part that glows when spoken in truth, began to shine through again. That's why things started falling apart, not because you did something wrong, but because heaven reordered your timeline, and anything out of sync had to break. Friendships cracked, systems rejected you, old mindsets stopped fitting. That wasn't rejection, that was response. Your name was echoed in the heavenlies, and everything false started trembling. So now what? Now you stop doubting the presence you carry. Now you walk like someone whose name is known in the realm beyond sight. Now you speak like someone heaven has reactivated. Your name is no longer dormant, it's vibrating at heaven's frequency. And when you say it out loud now, it's not just you remembering. It's not just a sound. When you speak your name now, your real name, something ancient responds. Chosen one, you've been silent for so long, not because you forgot your power, but because you were waiting for permission. Waiting for someone to invite you forward, to validate what you always knew deep in your spirit. But here's the truth. The moment you say your name in alignment with heaven, you won't need permission. You'll issue commands. Because your name is not just a label, it's a weapon, it's a key, it's a signal that you've re-entered the narrative you were born to shift. You ever notice how different the room feels when you say your name with certainty? How people stop talking, how the air tightens, how even your own posture changes. That's not performance, that's frequency coming home. When you say your name the way heaven says it, atmospheres recalibrate. Strongholds break without noise. Confusion lifts without debate. Because you're not just introducing yourself, you're announcing the arrival of a prophecy in motion. Proverbs 18:21 says, "Life and death are in the power of the tongue." And when your tongue speaks your real name, life begins rearranging to make way for the mission. That's why the enemy worked overtime to keep you quiet. That's why you felt the lump in your throat when you tried to say your full name in front of certain people. That's why the words didn't feel like yours when they called you something else. Because your name was waiting to be spoken by you in truth, with no apology. And now that it's happening, now that you're finally reclaiming your sound, spiritual realms are unlocking. Doors that were welded shut are trembling. Contracts written in shadows are unraveling. And favor you forgot you were owed is coming back with interest. Don't rush it. Say your name slowly. Let it rise in your chest like thunder before the rain. Let the syllables reintroduce you to the world. Let it fill the space between who you were and who you're becoming. Because when you say your name now, you're not just saying it for today, you're saying it for the child in you that went unheard. You're saying it for the version of you that was buried beneath false labels. You're saying it for the ancestors who never got to speak their full names aloud. And heaven is backing every letter. Chosen one, this is your shift. From silence to sound, from overlooked to overpowered, from almost to absolute. Say your name again, this time with no fear, no edit, no hesitation. And watch what happens. Watch the resistance fall away. Watch the path clear. Watch the supernatural bend in your direction. They didn't know you, not in the way the world defines knowing. You'd never met, never crossed paths. Yet one night, somewhere across the veil of time and waking thought, someone spoke your full name in a dream and woke up with tears in their eyes. Chosen one, this wasn't a coincidence. This was confirmation. Because when heaven reactivates your name, it doesn't just echo in your life. It starts showing up in theirs. God begins using dreamers, seers, watchers, even strangers to confirm that your assignment is real and your arrival has been marked. You felt it too, haven't you? The weight of being seen in places you've never been. That sense that people know you without knowing why. That's because heaven speaks in dreams before it speaks through headlines. Joel 2:28 says, "Your sons and daughters will prophesy, your old men will dream dreams, your young men will see visions." Dreams are divine couriers. And when your name shows up in someone else's dream, that's a spiritual alert being triggered in the atmosphere. One of them, a woman who hadn't prayed in months, saw you in a dream she couldn't explain. She described the sound of your name like thunder wrapped in light. She didn't just hear it, she felt it. And when she woke up, she wept. Not from fear, from remembrance, because something inside her had been waiting for your emergence. You've never spoken, but her spirit knew. The one we were warned about is finally awakening. And it wasn't just her. A child spoke your name in their sleep, and their parents didn't even recognize it. But when they looked it up, something clicked. A man halfway across the world journaled your name after a vivid vision and didn't understand what it meant, only that he had to write it down before the memory faded. These are not accidents. They are spiritual timestamps, evidence that your name isn't just resonating, it's rippling. Chosen one, your name is being announced in the dream realm because your presence in the physical is about to intensify. God uses dreams to prepare people before he reveals the person. Before Moses showed up in Egypt, God stirred the people's hunger for freedom. Before Jesus walked into towns, spirits were already trembling. And now, your name is moving through dreams to wake the world up, softly at first, then unmistakably. You may not know who dreamed about you, but they exist. They're out there, praying now, waiting now, searching for what they felt but couldn't explain. You are their confirmation. You are their answered question. And when they see you, when they hear your name spoken aloud, their spirit will say, "That's the one." Because heaven doesn't whisper names in dreams unless the name is about to be revealed in reality. It doesn't just describe you, it unlocks you. Your name was never meant to be decorative, chosen one. It was forged to open things no one else could, ancient things, forgotten things, hidden things. When heaven gave you your name, it wasn't just a label, it was a key code, a spiritual access pass woven into your sound. That's why the world has tried so hard to twist it, shorten it, distort it. Because keys only work when they're shaped right. And your name, in its full and holy form, was shaped to fit locks that others don't even know exist. You stood in front of doors that didn't open for anyone else, and you thought it was coincidence. But it was your name resonating in silence, calling the hinges to attention. There are places that remain sealed until the right voice speaks. Rooms that won't activate until the right name is carried in. Exodus 33:17 says, "You have found favor in my sight, and I know you by name." That's not poetry, that's protocol. Favor follows names, and yours was always tied to divine entry. You felt it before, that strange sense that the moment you showed up, something intangible began to respond. It wasn't charisma, it wasn't coincidence, it was alignment. The gate you were standing in front of was coded for you. Not just your face, not just your energy, your name. There are contracts in the spirit with your name written in light. And until you stepped into agreement with it, everything around you waited. That waiting is over now. That's why certain people were repelled by you. They felt locked out the moment you entered, not because you closed the door, but because your name triggered something they weren't meant to access. Your presence reminded them of gates they would never pass through, and so they resented you, not because of who you were, but because of what you could open. The key didn't fit them. It fits you, chosen one. You've been holding back, unsure if you were qualified, but you were born with the access. All that time you thought you needed permission. You didn't. You were the permission. You don't need a title. You are the title. You don't need a platform. You are the gate. And now that you've remembered your name, spoken it, stood in it, the locks are starting to turn. Doors that stayed shut for generations are beginning to creak open, not because someone picked the lock, but because the rightful key finally arrived. You, your name, spoken with alignment, spoken with fire. Say it again, not just to remember who you are, but to activate what belongs to you. Your name is not just your sound, it's your signature in the spirit. And now that you've remembered it, the gates will not remain closed. They don't always say it, but they feel it. The moment your name is spoken, even gently, the atmosphere shifts. Some people flinch, others stare. A few suddenly forget how to act around you. That's not insecurity, that's recognition. Chosen one, your name doesn't just carry your presence, it carries your power. And in the spirit realm, power doesn't go unnoticed. It disturbs what's hiding. Your name stirs the invisible, and that's why certain people, certain spirits, certain energies tighten the second it's spoken. You've walked into rooms and felt the air stiffen. You've watched people change their tone when they had to introduce you. That wasn't social awkwardness. That was spiritual friction, because your name is encoded with light, and light always exposes shadows. Ephesians 5:13 says, "Everything exposed by the light becomes visible, and everything that is illuminated becomes a light." You are illumination, and the moment your name hits the air, anything unclean, untrue, or unstable feels seen. That's why people you barely know have had strong reactions to you. Why some seem irritated by your silence. Why others gossip about you without reason. It's not your personality they're reacting to, it's your name's vibration. They hear it, and something deep inside them remembers you, remembers what was written about you, remembers what you were sent to dismantle. Your name reminds the enemy that time is running out, that a new force has arrived, that the old patterns can't keep cycling now that you've awakened. And it's not just people. Places respond too. Energy moves when your name is spoken in truth. Buildings go quiet. Technology glitches. Dreams intensify. Because the spiritual realm has always known that your name is not passive, it's penetrating. You don't sneak into destiny. You announce yourself by frequency alone. Even when you say nothing, your name travels ahead of you, like a key unlocking resistance before your arrival. Chosen one, it's time to stop taking it personally. Their discomfort isn't your responsibility, it's your proof. You were never meant to blend in, you were meant to reveal. You are a living disruption to systems built on illusion, and your name is the spark that sets those illusions on fire. That's why the spiritual resistance intensifies when you're about to level up. It's not because you're doing something wrong, it's because your name is getting louder in the unseen. So speak it anyway, let it echo, let it rattle, chains you never agreed to wear. Your name is heaven's reminder that the prophecy is now in motion, and whether the room celebrates or resists you, the vibration has already been released. They can flinch, they can flee, They can whisper, but they cannot stop what has already been activated by your name. They thought they knew your name, but heaven rewrote it, not in ink, not in stone, in fire. Chosen one, you've been walking with a name that has evolved through war. It didn't just survive attacks, it transformed because of them. What was once a whisper of potential is now a declaration of arrival. The name Heaven first gave you has returned, but stronger, sharper, forged in divine flame. And those who see you now can feel the burn, even if they don't understand it, because the old name no longer fits, the old story no longer applies, and the old systems can no longer contain you. You've endured enough to know survival changes your sound. Every betrayal added a syllable. Every tear burned a new edge into your vibration. Every night you thought you'd lost yourself, heaven was chiseling your name deeper into the scrolls of eternity. Isaiah 43:2 says, "When you walk through the fire, you will not be burned. The flames will not set you ablaze." But here's the mystery. While the fire didn't destroy you, it rewrote you. It activated the next version of your calling. And now when your name is spoken, it carries the heat of everything you survived and the holiness of everything you were born to become. There are beings, seen and unseen, who can feel the upgrade. You're no longer responding to the name meant for your last season. You're responding to the one heaven stamped after your obedience, after your wilderness, after your awakening. The new name glows when spoken in alignment. It triggers ancient memories in the spirit realm. It opens doors you forgot existed. It makes shadows scatter before you enter the room. Because heaven doesn't rename lightly, it renames when something divine has shifted. Like Abram to Abraham, Sarai to Sarah, Jacob to Israel, Saul to Paul. God never changed their identity. He revealed their evolution. And you, chosen one, have evolved. You're not just a survivor, you're a sign. You're a signal that the prophecy is now in motion. And your name, this new, fire-carved, heaven-inked name, is now the sound that leads the charge. So what does that mean? It means your introduction will feel different now. It means your voice will carry more weight, even when you whisper. It means those who once ignored you will now feel an unexplainable shift when you speak, not because of ego, but because of essence. You're not trying to be powerful. You are power walking in remembrance of who you've always been. Say it out loud right now, not the version they approved of, not the softened syllables you offered to make others comfortable. Say your name, the one heaven calls you, the one forged in fire, the one that made the enemy tremble before you even learned how to speak. Chosen one, this is not just about reclaiming identity. This is about declaring authority. Your name is not a label, it is a summons. And when you say it in power, heaven doesn't just listen, it moves. This is the moment everything changes. The moment the silence breaks, not with noise, but with knowing. Your knowing, your remembrance, your return. Revelation 3:12 says, "I will write on them my new name." This is the name given not at birth, but at rebirth. The one that could only be earned by surviving what others didn't, by awakening when others fell asleep, by choosing light in a world that worships shadows. Your name is no longer a question, it's a confirmation. You've been tested, mocked, renamed by those who could not comprehend you. But every mislabel was a setup, every nickname, every silence, every omission was part of heaven's strategy. Not to reduce you, but to refine you, to prepare your name for its proper revealing. And now, here you are, standing in the fullness of your vibration, speaking from the center of your anointing. A name once whispered in confusion, now becoming a sound that splits dimensions. This is why they were afraid to say it, because your name doesn't just describe you, it activates atmospheres. It reminds hell of what it lost. It reminds heaven of what just awakened. It reminds the earth of what's been released. Every time you say your name from alignment, portals open. Resistance crumbles. Favor locates you. And the false versions of yourself fall away like old skin. So say it, this time, not as the one who was overlooked, but as the one who was hidden for a reason. Say it as the one whose scroll was sealed, then reopened. Say it as the one who has seen death, doubt, and darkness, and did not fold. Let the frequency rise from your belly. Let the fire return to your spine. Let every letter carry the weight of your calling. And say it with the power that makes heaven respond and hell retreat. You are no longer nameless, no longer silenced, no longer waiting for someone else to announce you.
If you have come this far, it is crucial that you watch this next video here. But be warned, it is not for the faint of heart, for only the true chosen ones can handle this video. If you would like to also donate to help keep the channel going, our Buy Me a Coffee link will be in the description.